doing a temperature check. And I would love if Nate could kick us off this very special day.
Well, temperature check looks good. I've just been kind of watching from the outside. Everything looks really awesome. I really enjoyed Mitch's pitch to save Luna, which was really cool. So good PR regardless. So just kind of miss everybody and looking forward to get back into the swing of things. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Septi.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. Yeah, I'm also so excited. Like, I'm so excited with, not what happened to Luna, but then, Mitch stepping in, having what we learn and applying it. And I see like the potential of this community if we keep growing and, having all these token engineering tools and, like the community itself is building resilience on other communities, which is awesome, honestly. It's, the hero. and and yeah, and the other thing is also like the transparency sample things are going smooth, and yeah, I'm very excited for see where it looks forward. I'll pass it to Gideon.
Thanks, Septi. I'd say things are going well. Like I'm really feeling the collaboration vibes going this week. Like some good conversations. Septi and I had a good chat like yesterday and today about like how Sampo and transparency work together, and I think we came up with like a really good way of working together. So I'm psyched about that. I had a good call with Angela yesterday just to like see how we can help on the Briders. I mean, I don't know, it just feels good. Like feels there's like a lot of synergy that's building. I'll pass it to Mert.
Thank you, Gideon. Like this week, I'm feeling actually very active because in Omega we've been working about the library as Griff connect with us, the developers. Also, we've started like laid out what we call research groundwork, where we will explore how the token engineering parameters will affect our moral behaviors. So I believe this may have a lot of attention from Softco as well. So looking forward to like develop those research groundwork and share with the stewards. So in general, I'm feeling very enthusiastic. So I'd like to pass it on Lauren.
Thanks, Mert. Yeah, temperature check. I'm feeling warm. It feels good in here. It feels like the vibes have been really high throughout the community, and in the Twitter space, it's just like still a lot of hype and encouragement about the augmented bonding curve protecting the TEC token price, and I was really excited to see also Mitch's post about like rescuing the entire Luna ecosystem with like good token engineering, and it just like I don't know. Honestly, it made me feel so proud. To know Mitch, and then also just be like part of this community where we're like really working on tooling to like create safe, resilient economic systems. So vibes are high, and I'll pass it to Mitch.
Wow, thanks. I'm really glad that I don't know, whatever it was generated some positivity and some hype for the TEC. I was on half vacay, so I wasn't really super around. Especially on the proposal inverter side. But I'm feeling warm, I would say, like Lauren. Got those rewards out, everything's rolling, we're caught up on praise. So it's just like that was some really big milestones there. And so things seem to be flowing. Yeah, nothing else to add. I'll pass it to Chewy.
Thanks, Mitch. Temperature check, right? Okay, great. It's I feel that things are starting to move on with communications. I would say warm, maybe a little bit. It's starting to gain like this warmth after like Amsterdam and this like hiatus that was in there, but. I think that right now we are in a point where we can learn from like our mistakes and our own like experience. So right now that the last proposals are going out with animation, but the T Academy team ran out of funds already, so we are working on a new proposal. But at the same time, we're confident. But at the same time, we're nervous because of the amount of time that took to pass the last proposal. So it's getting there. It's getting there, but I feel that there are much just better ways to start delivering and organizing all of this, and just be more agile with our processes. So I feel that's the next time the temperature is gonna go hot for communications again. So I feel good because that's the next level and the next challenge. I'll pass it to Nate.
Nate started us off. Griff hasn't gone yet.
Okay, go Griff.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I also, of course, not to repeat everybody, but to repeat everybody, the augmented bonding curve post was really cool to see, and just I feel like that's also just a good strategy for us. I don't think Mitch was intending it to be a comm strategy for the TEC, but to when there is, and this is kind of a sad thing, but when there is a token engineering mishap, the TEC's name should get spun around a little bit, because hey, it's this is let's do some token engineering, guys. Where's the model of UST? I don't see the CAD model. Did you? I missed it. Anyway, the other big stuff, yeah, the rewards coming out is so cool. It's such a huge project, and it hit a huge milestone. And I even got my TEC, so that's great. And I'm a little lukewarm on the CoinGecko. There's this one pool. I don't know who has the Wrapped XDAI TEC pool, but I wish they would just take it down, because it keeps messing up the price on CoinGecko. So gotta figure out. That's my TEC work for the day. Is that?
Also on this side, I was talking with the One Hive crew in Honeyswap. The Water and the Give token are also giving grown numbers. They say they're working on it, but it's 3 days ago. It gives 0.000 on the volume and everything. When you go to info.honeyswap, I already contact them. So they said they were going to check it on Thursday. Now that I remember. Hopefully it gets fixed too. And we sent the form.
Go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say we already sent the form with Vitor, and the circulating supply should come anytime soon, I hope.
Nice.
Are we tracking this in an issue anywhere so that it's sort of on everyone's radar and not so untransparent?
Yeah, I can create an issue, but I just saw it and I just DM the crew on Honeyswap, but I can create an issue.
Thanks, Zap.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad to see CoinGecko. I keep wanting to say, look at the TEC price holding steady, and it is, but CoinGecko keeps lying about it. So it's damn it. But yeah, that's because I really feel like this is the bear market is the TEC's moment to shine, because we were robustly built for the bear market, and it's working. So it's super cool. And did Livia go already?
No, thank you.
And happy birthday.
Thanks. I think I feel really excited about the collaborations between some working groups. I think the work in SoftGov has been getting more body and maturity, and I really like how people are stepping up. And I think there's some interesting collabs with Omega and Sampo and Transparency and Comunitas. So I'm excited for what's coming forward from there. Also really cool to see the rewards being paid out. I think, as we talked in the retrospective, there's some challenges in the reward system, but it feels like there's a lot of people on top of it, and we're digging deeper every week, and we're seeing the results of that. And Yeah, personally, it's been a little difficult of a week. I'm in my old house, like getting my things to move out. So I'm a little distracted with that and having some time, like availability issues here, just to pack my life in a suitcase again and move on. And yeah. Yeah, also really cool to see how the TEC is standing strong. And I think this will be a great opportunity for us in the conferences that are coming up to speak more about that and just show our token engineering. And I'll pass to, I think I was the last one, Tam? No, Edu. Do you want to?
Thank you, Livy, and happy birthday. So the temperature check, I guess. Tam? Temperature check? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, sorry. So it's interesting. I feel like there is this situation of the bear market as has been said before, and today we were adjusting community task working group budget. So it's interesting to see how this affects and make us to try to be more concise, because we now see that there is not so much money around, and it needs to be spent wisely if it's spent. So I think it's a nice conversation of austerity. I don't know if that's the right word in English. I hope it is. But I don't know. I feel it's just, like I mentioned a while ago, like it's just a cycle, and we just have to endure and keep building the next cycle. And I think it didn't hit us hard at all, and we just have to have us try to keep building a strong community in order to be better. And back to you, Tom.
Wanka, I believe you're still waiting to go.
Yeah, thanks. Well, these past weeks I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed because of the growth in Gravity, but at the same time, like being in the TEC and offering a service to Aragon and participating in the Commons Prize. And I think I need more support from like a project manager, because I am finding myself like lost in dates and carrying like so many things from so many fronts that I feel a little bit lost. But at the same time, I love this kind of complexity and this kind of chaos, and it's where I show some of my virtues. So it's like, okay, it's very hot, but okay, I will try to resist it and transform it and transform myself. But yeah, it's been hard to like keep up with so many strings of work, because the the Graviton training will start next week, but we are also now writing the proposal for a tailored Gravity sessions for Aragon, and it's like a lot of things, but yeah, I am motivated and excited.
And welcome, Jason, to the Stewards Weekly. In the beginning, we just start with the temperature check, so you can share something about yourself personally, about something that you see in the community or in one of the working groups, something that you want to share as a highlight, or something that maybe you want to raise to the attention of the stewards. And you have a minute if you'd care to share.
I just lurking today, but I just wanted to point out that I'm having trouble being distracted from being in the garden versus being in front of the computer. So for anybody, the profundity of such a distraction, that's my current problem. Cheers, everybody.
Can't you have both? Can't you have both?
I will be working in the garden soon because I've created places for that, but it's still currently a lot of effort to get there.
All right, then I think it's just me left. And I'll say, the first thing Eduardo mentioned, he and I really took a hard look at the Communitas budget today, and the necessity of the roles or not necessity of roles, and we really went lean. We haven't shared it with the rest of Communitas yet, so we still need to do a little working group advice process on it. But I think we are going to try to be a very lean working group, and I think that's the right way forward. And then I guess I'm a little sad. I was supposed to do some work with Zeptimus for the for the ABC dashboard this week, and there was an issue with the Commons Prize, and it just took all of my extra bandwidth. So I didn't do that, but I think I have some time to make up tomorrow to make it up to him. I had a really good conversation with Chris Katoya, and this makes me really happy. It's around CAD and TEC community coming closer together and some potential collaborations we could have in the short-term future. What else? Also, Mitch's post, like, that was really cool to see. I sent him a little DM. I was like, yay. It was really, really nice to see that. Nice to see, like, the token engineering commons framed in such a positive light. And also, I didn't really realize you were so smart about stuff, Mitch. You had a really good argument in there. That was really cool to see. I knew it, but I didn't know it, if you know what I mean. He's all brains, yeah. Okay, cool. And then I guess, CV proposals are getting harder to pass by design. So, I think that's on my mind too. And the Stewards working group proposals, like, fingers crossed, if we can pass it by distribution in the first week of June. So I hope that if you guys agree with the funding proposal for the Stewards, you will hop on and vote for it now. It would be a great time. And then maybe last thing, speaking of the Commons Prize, it's a real treat to see that Gravity has been in, like, the top 5 pretty much the whole time, and they're currently at number 3. And grassroots economics and precious plastics seem to be separating from the rest in the lead. But everything changes. Not like so many people haven't voted yet. Okay, cool. So if you guys would all join me in a very coordinated version of happy birthday to Livia, I think we can embarrass ourselves and her at the same time. Okay, so everyone find the mute button.
Unmute.
Hey, happy birthday.
There you go.
Happy
birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Livia. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, would you like to share anything, Livia?
Thank you. That was lovely. That's my favorite tradition of the TEC. Thanks, everybody.
It is all about coordination.
Synchronization, coordination, and pitch. Okay, cool. So gardens, yeah, we have some things. The retroactive funding for TEC at ETH Denver, even though it's a relatively small amount, it is still quite, I think, quite far from passing, right? Maybe a quarter of the way there. The funding for the Stewards working group for May to July is very far from passing. And then Teams, DAO, animation, and video also seems to be pretty far from passing still. So yeah, I guess we need to, I don't know what we need to do. I think that there's a lot of votes on abstain, and that's a lot of people are sort of just saying no more spending. And so it's going to get harder and harder to pass working group votes. There's an interesting, I know that SEM and Blossom Labs has talked about osmotic funding as a potential model for operations or DAO operations versus conviction voting, which would be just for proposals. And that could be something that we could look into when it's ready. As far as I know, it's just still conception phase. So we had this retro action, get in contact with Tokenomics DAO, but we don't have a champion for it. So is there somebody who put this on the retrospective? Does anyone want to elaborate, the person who added this to our retrospective? And or do we want to see if there's somebody who wants to sort of champion and see the possibilities of relationships with Tokenomics DAO?
I added that to the retrospective just because it feels like something that the TC could be doing. You know, they've been building this library of tokenomic models, and I feel like it's something people would expect that the TC would have. And since they're already doing that, I wonder if there is like a bridge we could make, maybe start proposing some shared talks. I don't know if if they have a Discord server. I didn't. Oh yeah, I joined it, but I didn't talk to nobody. Maybe we could start having like cross events if they are open to it.
Just to sense on that, if I'm not wrong, I cannot recap the exact words, but Angela mentioned that this DAO was brought to her by, I think it was Sargem, and I think she's in contact with them. But I think it would be just nice to check in with Angela just in case, and then sort of make it more coordinated, because she has that on her mind for the token engineering feature presentation that I shared a few weeks ago. They are named there, and she explained me the background, but I can't recall exactly her words. So I think it will be worth trying both, reaching out to them and also reaching out to Angela to see if she's already advanced in any communications with them.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it in the governance guild, but I didn't understand that there was an active like something happening already. But yeah, it would be great to talk to her and have something integrated from all these groups.
Is there somebody that wants to take on this as something that they'll conclude, like they will follow through with and conclude? Maybe speak with Angela, speak with the people in Tokenomics, and see where we can have collaborative efforts.
I can try taking it.
Try. Okay. 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 So just if anyone wants to add anything to the agenda, as usual, please add anything you want to talk about to the agenda. The next thing I have is labs. YGG has expressed the need to take some distance, but he's looking for, in his words, someone that just loves to code and explore systems. Another data scientist would be great. So if you have anyone you could think of that could provide labs some support that sort of matches that role, please reach out to him. Another idea that's just starting to percolate, but we don't know if it'll get any traction yet, is this closer collaboration with CAD community and TEC, which may come in the forms of kinds of, specific questions the TEC has, and then a focused session or series of sessions in the TEC labs from the CAD community, modeling out that question. So there's sort of been some suggestions. Griff made 2 great suggestions about possible questions. One was, what if we turn off the bonding curve and only the TEC can do arbitrage between the curve, or we don't turn it off, but maybe we make it exclusive to the TEC. We turn it off publicly, and then only the TEC can arbitrage between the secondary market and primary. And then another idea was if we pay everyone in TEC tokens, all of the proposals we fund in TEC tokens, maybe see some scenarios of what that would look like. They'll see if YGG and CAD are really into this idea as well. And we might have some more information for next week. Griff, you look like you're about to jump in. Do you want to say something? No? Okay. Am I lagging? Am I getting laggy? No.
No, Griff is lagging.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
So
The only
on the note of, sorry, Seth. On the note of labs, like this is just out of the blue because it's the first name that came to my mind. What happened to Octopus? Maybe he is somehow interested on maybe taking on his side of the equation. But I remember he was amazing and he was doing work with him, and I think Octopus maybe bring him over to just re-sing with him could be nice.
I think Octopus is still pretty active with YGG, more on a daily basis, actually, at Longtail Financial. If I'm not, maybe I'm mistaken about that. But I think also it could be worth reaching out to him too, for sure. But I would have assumed, but it's never safe to assume. I guess assume makes an ass of you and me, right? That he's already reached out to Octopus, but Octopus is a full-time professor. You know, like he does this in his fun time. Like, you know, he does this in his fun time. But I think he also has a very demanding job outside of the fun that he has in the TEC. But it can't hurt to ask. Is that?
I was just, since we were talking about this CAD thing, I was thinking what of the, the objective of this research should be like, how much liquidity do we need to that be a viable thing? Just because like if you go to Honeyswap right now and buy 20K worth of DAI into TC, you only get 6K of TC. So I think at this point, it's not viable. But in this research, like I would focus on, I really think it's a great idea, but I would focus especially on the liquidity. How much liquidity do we need to that be a viable thing in the secondary market?
Yeah, I think probably the right way forward, if they even agree to do this, if this turns out to be what we do, would be to have a forum post for like suggestions, and then probably let the modelers choose the question that they feel they can have the best results from, the most meaningful results. Something like that is how I could imagine it playing out. So we would submit a bunch of ideas and suggestions, but maybe some of them would be more well adapted to modeling in CAD than others. And so maybe we sort of can feel out, but I like that suggestion too. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, anything else about either TEC Labs, maybe anyone that's been through onboarding that could be potentially a good fit for TEC Labs? Maybe just we can keep our eye out for that, Edu. Okay, Stewards Council this week is going to be Gideon and Sampo. So Gideon's going to do a short presentation and then maybe facilitate the conversation to get some advice process, to get some thoughts, to get some different perspectives. And it'll all be about sort of the financial health of the TEC. So yay, another council, but this time with more, I'd say, concreteness to it than our previous councils about financial health and future. I don't think we have any spotlight for the community call. And I think Manu has the issue to help reimagine the community call. I don't think there's anything going to be in these, anything's going to happen in either of these. Any suggestions for the community? Oh, Wonka, you had a suggestion. What was your suggestion, Wonka?
Humberto, he has a proposal in the forum, and he would like to talk about it.
Cool. Do you think you could coordinate with him to do the spotlight?
Yeah, I can write to him.
Okay, and just maybe also give him some, like set his expectations that he'll probably have about 5 minutes at the end, and he can do a presentation if he wants, or a talk off the cuff, but it's probably going to be about 5 minutes at the end of the call. Cool, thank you. Thanks for that.
I also have a suggestion maybe for next week. They're called Active Interference Lab. They are part of the Trusted Seed, and I started chatting with them when promoting the Commons Prize, and they have used CAD to model their tokenomics, and they wanted to apply to the Commons Prize, but they didn't have the resources for it, and they feel very aligned. They are a token engineering project, so could talk to them.
And one more idea for like the week after that would be the Writers Guild. It'd be great to, we're still kind of working through a few things right now, but we set up a channel for it, and we're now trying to kind of ramp things up to get some more writers in. So it'd be great to bounce some ideas around with folks, and maybe one in like 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Cool, all fantastic suggestions. Okay, I guess if there's nothing else on this topic, we can move on to rewards updates. I feel like we've gotten the rewards updates. Is there anything else that you want to add, Mitch?
I mean, I could look at the notes from last week, but the highlights will be, yeah, we're caught up. Rewards are going out. We'll have to think of how we're going to request more funds. So once we get up to like August, I think we'll run out of funds in the reward board. And so we'll have to make another request for funding after that. We're going to open the next round on Friday for the 30th of April until the 14th of May. And we'll just keep doing it in bi-weekly periods from now on.
Okay, can I raise, since we have so much time left, just the question around publishing handles versus publishing Ethereum addresses? I know I posted on the forum and you posted back. I wonder, so my feeling is we're probably going to get into more trouble by not just publishing handles, because eventually everyone will know. But more importantly, I feel like it creates this separate classes of people, those who know whose names are attached to those addresses and those who don't, which is a information asymmetry that I think we're introducing unnecessarily. So I wonder, is there been any more talk about that in the rewards and how they maybe want to, do we want to continue not publishing any handles, or is that, I guess I want to hear like, what has the discussions been so far?
Tim, can I just add one more thing onto this thing?
Go for it.
So, you know, we're talking about, so Zeptimus and I and some of the folks in Sampo were talking about just like the treasury, like in the multi-sigs for the working groups, like, you know, what's the amounts that's been spent, and, you know, like that kind of stuff. And kind of the next level is looking at like how much has been spent, and maybe even like how much has been spent in the working groups by role, right? And so there is this question that was raised in the forum about like, well, should those also have names attached, or should those just be roles, right? So that's kind of a related question I'll throw into the mix.
I also want to remind us of the praise debates and Armageddon and how that all started, and it was based off of like people feeling the praise distribution wasn't fair, and there wasn't a big issue until all of a sudden we added tokens, you know, where it was all impact hours and there was a ranking and no one cared, but it was being submitted. This person got this many tokens every, 2 weeks. But then all of a sudden you add money to the mix with names and things get a little weird. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but tread cautiously, because we've had this problem in the past.
I know. I've thought about that too. And there's this idea of it's like when it's just a number, like a video score, it's very innocuous. And then as soon as it becomes like, oh, this is a token and this token will have a monetary value, then it became more contentious. So being aware of that, it still creates a group of people who know everyone who's in the list and a group of most of the community who don't. And I feel like that's or most of the people on the list, right? And I feel like that's the kind of that lacks the transparency that I think is foundational to our ethos. But I do think we have to address that there will be some contention from that will arise from it. I don't think that it's going to be avoided, but I think it's going to happen eventually. At last, if not at first.
I also think it's going to if we don't share, it also goes against mutual monitoring. How are we supposed to in the community to analyze this data if it's being hid by a group of people? Like I feel it goes against our ethos. And we were sharing the impact hours, and I feel the problem. People. I think the price market thing went crazy just because it was like a year of work. This is 2 weeks. If we get 2 weeks less than we expected, we can comment and expect the next, expect the analysis and have some impact. The community commenting and yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's important to show names. I don't remember this being discussed on the board. Actually, I just saw it posted in the forum. I think we'll have the graphs anyways from the RAD dashboard. And when we come to the review calls, we can already see the names. So I agree with Tam that it creates some type of information asymmetry because the people who come and see the graphs from RAD now, they have access to this information. And I think we'll start to have more clarity on all the expenditure from the audits that Zaptimus is doing. And a lot of the problems we had this past sprint was because there was some type of weirdness of people feeling like, oh, but this person is receiving so much more than this person, and some like offline talks started to happen, and we don't really want that to happen. It's better that these conversations happen in the open, even if they feel hard to have.
Cool. Well, so the main thing behind not putting handles on there is just like not inviting the contention, because when you put everybody's names on there, it's just like it becomes more open, and so it's like there's a fine line between like transparency and then like putting too much information like right there for people to basically like feel heard about. And so maybe there's an information asymmetry, like you're saying, about like only certain people know each other's addresses, but like what would be the benefit or the disadvantage to other people not knowing how much the other person gets in rewards? Like if you're in the dark about how much other people, but you know what you're getting, like are you inviting an argument by like giving everyone all the information? The second part is that the information is all there anyway. Like you go on the full report analysis, and then it's like you can see the praise scores, you can see the stuff in there, but it's like if you want to dig a little bit deeper, it's there. But I just think like, I mean, I've seen these conversations happen before, and we kind of had the same stuff happen in another DAO where it's like as soon as you start publishing names everywhere in big shiny letters, how much they're getting paid, then people start making comparisons and having arguments.
But that just exposes some fragility that we have as a community. Like if having names there and having the compensation in the open is the cause of comparison and fear and I don't know, some type of argument, because we have to look why that's happening. Like why are people feeling unsatisfied?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you, I don't know what's going on with this. Yeah, I mean, if you guys feel like opening up and taking that risk and you have the resources to deal with it, then by all means. But I mean, I figured it was like this would be the safest thing to start with and not invite that. You know, it's kind of like Pandora's box. It's like, okay, if you want to do it, you better be ready to deal with it. So that's my thoughts.
This is, I don't know, this may be an ignorant thing to say because I don't know, I just haven't been as close to all this. But, you know, when I look at the actual numbers, I mean, for a few people, these are significant numbers. But for the vast majority of people, like the actual amount of money that's flowing out through this is not great, right? It's not huge. And I'm just wondering whether, like, you know, Tam, your point about like when this was like video game credits, like when it was just numbers, like no problem, right? It's like, it's not controversial at all. And so I guess I'm just thinking longer term, like, you know, if this was like reputation credits that didn't translate directly into money, I don't think we'd be, you know, I don't think there would be an issue. You know, maybe that even like multiplies your governance. I mean, who knows what that would do? But I guess I'm just questioning this, like the actual amount of money for most of the people is not huge. So, you know, we may be introducing friction that is not necessary. I don't know. That's a controversial statement, but I'll throw it out.
I also want to add something. And all this reward system is being a test. Like, I don't think no one is expecting this to be like a page size. I just received like 37, TC for the 2 weeks. It's like, okay, and you know, it's okay. You know, it's like, it's been tested. But if we hide the numbers, like how is the community going to share feedback and stuff? Like, I feel like if we consider this like a testing ground and not as a salary, no one's expecting a salary from that. So we should not worry so much. And yeah, if we make it open, it's, you know, open source culture. And more people can argument and give feedback.
I mean,
analyze.
it is open though. Like the addresses are there, the numbers are there, the report's published with it. You know, it's not out of proportion here. Like the information's all there. It's just like, are we using Discord handles or are we showing Ethereum addresses?
I think that the chaos, not the chaos, but the conflict that will bring this comparison doesn't outweigh the transparency aspect of it. I don't think that we actually gain. Transparency is already there. I don't think we gain much more by just changing that aspect of it, because if you want to dig in, you just look for it and you will find it, as Mitch mentioned. So I'm on Mitch on this, mainly because I feel we do not have the resources to go through a praise Armageddon again at this stage and at this moment, and I don't think it's healthy for the community. And at the same time, the thing about salaries and stuff, we cannot assume everyone thought this was not a huge compensation of how much they were going to receive. That's a dangerous assumption to make, because people have been contributing under the assumption of rewards, but there was never a clarification about how much, how many. And I think some people may have got offended. So I think there is a labor that we have to do that is greater than just changing the names on that post or putting the Ethereum address. I think there is a labor of transparency, but community-wide, and on expectations regarding rewards, rather than just focusing on this aspect of transparency on this post, because it's a test and we could amend it next time when we have had this talk in advance. So that's my 2 cents on that. Mert, you were
my thoughts are more aligned with what Zeptimus actually said. Like, in terms of, I think transparency, it should show some handles. This is because, for example, I think wallets doesn't mean anything, because like, how do I know anybody's wallet? And also, this will be a good opportunity. I agree with the fact that like we don't want to get into this praise wars again, but I mean, this will be a good opportunity for other people to understand like what kind of agents are getting praised. For example, like I'm wondering, for example, Nick has been doing a lot of work in Omega, but she's not a kind of person that is very vocal. So, for example, I was just wondering Nick's praise, and if it is low, like I will just want to contribute on that side, etc. So if it is show, I think it will be much transparent and democratic, I believe. But
the
of course,
information is there. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, but
So-
wallets.
I want to add to what Mitch is saying here in that the information is presented with context, and I think that's pretty valuable. You know, if you want to see who the people are, then you dig into the report, and then you can see now you're getting the names, but you're also getting the context with the names. And I think that I don't actually have a horse in this race. I'm not sure which is better. Both are fun and interesting experiments. I don't think there is a wrong way here. But I'm taking the underdog side just to say like it's not hidden. It's just what do we promote? You know, what user experience do we want? Do we want people to get names with the context, or do we want to just deliver the names as easy as possible without the context? And I think that's the decision, because the names are public.
When you say anyone can dig into the reports, what do you mean?
There's a link there published with each distribution, and so that's actually the analysis from the RAD dashboard. So you can see who was praised the most, or who got the highest praise score. So I mean, even if you go, Tam, right now into the one for August, I just put up, and then you go into full report period analysis here, and then it should output a file that is interactive. Rewards received by category. Yeah, go up there. One more chart up. You passed it. Up, 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 up. Yeah, see that bar chart there below that one, Tam?
Praise reward distribution, this one?
Rewards received by category. So if you hover over it, so you can see how much that person got in comparison to the other, and it shows their handle.
Oh, I win this time.
Yeah, Zep's the winner. So I mean, you have it there. You're like, who got praised the most this round? It's like, Zepti, and then you can find your name on there. The Discord handles are there, and then if like from there, there's just more and more analysis. Like if you want to get more context on it.
I see. Actually, this is my ignorance now. Sorry about that. Like I thought it like I haven't gotten to chance to take a look at them. Actually, that clarifies my opinion. So I'm revising my opinion. It doesn't matter if there is data that you can easily take a look.
Yeah.
I had an interesting observation. If we tell people that this is here, as we're gonna do, because that's the answer to how do I know the answer of who the list belongs to, and folks are telling. Excuse me a second. A little pollen in my throat. Damn. Isn't the same conversation going to ensue? Aren't folks going to come to the same conclusions once they hover over this? And aren't they going to lob the same comments at the same post in the forum because they found out the answer to whatever their concern wasn't just what the data was, but they had an interest in seeing that name because somehow that means something to them. I think Libby said it best. The reason that means something to them is something we have to understand because you can't avoid the conversation.
Sure, it's all about the presentation, right? So it's like Griff said, we have it there with the context, or they can go and look in the data and come to their own conclusions.
I love this. I'm just going to say that. But the second thing I'll say is that it actually, I don't know, maybe it actually makes the case stronger. Here is the list by handles. You can also see it in the graph. Like you can go and see the context. Like it already, the question's already answered. So then why not just use the handles since it's already displayed?
Well, that's the question. Do we want to display the handles without context or with context? And
But together. Because we're assuming we can always go, there's probably some place where we can go see this as related to each of the quants, right? either on the dashboard or in the forum post that you included.
Yeah.
So,
but you won't see it together. You have the surface, right, and then the people that dig deeper. So they're not shown together.
So this is narrative. This is narrative. What's the story you want to tell? The conversation's going to happen no matter which side of the story you're on, though. You can't avoid it. So telling the story actually creates a vulnerability, because do people believe you're hiding something by telling a story when the truth is right there out in the open, and you're going to lead people to it, and they're going to conclude the same thing?
Just not even an opinion on that, on the names. Just I think we don't really have that much context now. Like, to be honest, the analysis we have now doesn't really offer any context for how people were praised. The context we're receiving is more about quantification than about like the act of praise and what we are rewarding. So I feel like kind of a meh argument, you know, that like, oh, they will be seeing this with context of what? Like, we have a long way to go with the RAD dashboard to actually offer context about what has been rewarded in the community.
I have another question. Can that be downloaded, like, you know, the people's names with the tokens that they get? Can that be like a CVV file or something, like for the, if we end up tracking like what people's making, it feels very, you know, hard to get, you know, everybody, like, I know the information is here, but if I have to type it manually, it could be so much work. And if we can get that downloaded somewhere.
Yeah, it's already there actually in the TEC rewards. It's a CSV file you can download.
Cool.
Maybe can I just say one more thing? Like, just to pull some ideas together. You know, I agree that, so this isn't salary, this isn't compensation. This is like a small amount of tokens for I mean, I think the largest is, you know, it goes from like 250 to whatever, a few tokens for praise. And I feel like there's a few things maybe. One is that also what Mert said around like, oh, if I see Nick, you know, I feel like she hasn't been praised enough, that encourages me to use the praise system more, to surface the work that hasn't been seen, because we can see so clearly that it hasn't. You know, there was something about the leaderboards that we did that actually made people want to praise more, because you could see the results. And you could see, okay, if I put in more effort here, or I, you know, see somebody is doing work and isn't getting praised, I'm going to now make an effort to praise them because I can see it so visibly. I think if our narrative is like, these are the praise this week, and we shouldn't be afraid of the results. We shouldn't be fearful that our community is going to freak out. We should expect there to be some contention, and expect us to have a maturity that we can handle this contention by discussing this, like, okay, in 2 more weeks, like, first of all, this is really still a pilot, right? And second of all, every 2 weeks, there's a new praise coming out. So what we are sharing now is like history, right? What's going to actually matter is forward looking, like what we praise now and going forward. So we even sort of have the like, well, this is historical praise that we're sharing now. So maybe maybe it's the best opportunity for people not to be so concerned about the results as they would be when this is, you know, present day, not August 2021, but like May 2022. So you have a lot to take back to the rewards group and think about, I guess is the answer or the conclusion. Is there anything else anyone wants to share, or any final thoughts about this, and call it advice process?
How is the decision made all around this? I guess, does the reward board consult with this, or, I mean, Mitch is making the forum post, is it just up to Mitch? I don't know. Like, what's the decision-making process there?
You know, did I even post this in here? I think I posted it in there. Sorry, I gotta look at my thread right now. Yeah, I mean, I put something in the reward board saying I'm going to do it like this and invite the discussion, but nobody really commented on it in the last day. So I'm telling them, like, hey guys, I'm gonna post it like this again, and I'm like, okay. Nobody says no. I'm just gonna do it because I mean, you know.
I think it was the safest decision. Just to, you know, but I also think that maybe long term, I think longer term we would benefit from having more openness than having less openness. And I love this analysis, by the way. Thanks. I didn't look at it before, so thanks for sharing that too.
Could I ask a question real quick? I just want to say, is there a strategy for the distribution process? And is there any like concerns in terms of like sell pressure on the token and all that good stuff?
Strategy for distributing the token? Like, what do you
Like
mean?
we're doing like months and months and months of token distribution right now. And so I was just saying, is it going to be all distributed at once, or are we going to do it kind of 1 month at a time?
I'm doing it weekly until we're caught up. I mean, these are rewards that we basically owe to people from the work they did a year ago, almost. So it'll be done weekly until we catch up, and then bi-weekly.
Gotcha.
Would anyone else like to share any thoughts or questions on this topic?
I just wanted to say that, sorry, Mitch, that I didn't see that happening in the reward board before. Too many messages there. That one passed by unnoticed.
It doesn't, yeah. It's fine. I'm just telling you, you know, transparency, right?
I am also learning so much about token engineering, and if I would go back in time, I would have like promoted with even more force Ostrom's baby. I think that design was really cool, and we would have like more tokens to distribute, but it's just a learning opportunity. Everything is just a sandcastle.
Okay. We're at the top of the hour, but vote to adjust tributes just got dropped on our agenda. Come here, Jane. Got dropped on our agenda. Sorry, my daughter just hurt herself in the other room. The vote to adjust tributes just got dropped on the agenda. Griff, I believe this is something you want to advocate for.
Yep, it's just every 2 weeks, go vote, and especially now, it's nice to raise that exit tribute and generate funds for the commons. So, exit tribute will go to 9%. Entry tribute will go down to 8%, making things better. Go rock that vote.
Okay. My hair is covered in slime. And we're at the top of the hour. Okay, thanks everyone for your time today. See you soon.
Thank you, Tom.
Hi, Cam. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry about the slide.